Well, hello. My name is Julie, and my channel is Not Dead Yet, and you're not dead yet. I wanted to talk a little bit about fear today because as we get older, we become more fearful. I was actually, I looked up because I wanted to see if there was a statistic on it about how what the percentage is of people who are getting older have more fear. And I couldn't really find about the fear, but I did find that 10 to 20% more people as they grow older get more anxiety disorder. They have more PTSD. They they have more phobias. They have more physical um, outward symptoms of anxiety than their younger counterparts. So, like a fluttering heart, shortness of breath, sweating, maybe some nausea, with the anxiety that, of course, is bringing it to them. So, as we get older, we have a lot more anxiety overall, a lot more fear. And, you know, some of those fears are really founded. So, do you have a financial fear? Do you have a fear of, just getting older and losing your health status? Social isolation. So, not having as many friends. Maybe as you're getting older, your friends are getting sick and maybe they're dying. And, how do you handle that? And health. Like, is your health suffering? As you get older, you might slow down, you might have more aches and pains. And so the anxiety is, oh my God, well, what do I do in 20 or 30 years? Right? I can tell you from my own experience, living with fear, especially in the last 6, 7 years, um, it is something that you may have to wrestle with. And how do you do that? So I'm going to give you some tools today. I can tell you a little bit of the backstory is when I was 50, I left a 32-year marriage with a bag of clothes, half my retirement, and a car, and no job. And I went to my sister's house. And I lived in a rented room. I rented a room out from her. I lost my business. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I had to live with, oh my God, how am I financially going to handle my life? Okay, I am so anxious, off the chain anxious. How do I combat that? And how do I get to where I want to go? So I had to really think about some of these things. And to this day, I mean, I don't think we can get rid of fear. I think it's just how do we channel it in a different way. So for me, the one thing that I did, the first thing that I did was I allowed the fear once a week to just wash over me for an hour. I gave it an hour. That is all I gave it. And I would cry in that hour. I would say, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do any of these things. I would be a little hysterical in that hour. And after that, I wasn't allowed, or I didn't allow myself to feel sorry for myself. I said, okay, I got that out of my system, and now I have to move forward. So that was the first thing I did. So it's okay to allow your fear, but allow it for a finite amount of time, you know? And then number two is going to be you have to look at what you want. And this is a big thing because if you don't know where to go and what to do, that fear can just grow and grow and grow and go, oh my gosh, you're never going to do this. You're never going to do that. It just blossoms into something that's humongous. So I wanted to get a handle on it. And how I got a handle on it was I would write down the fear I had, and then I would write down the decision I wanted to make to go forward. What did I want in my life? I can tell you there are so many people that I've talked to that are 50 and over, even younger. You ask what they want and they don't know. So it's really important to hone in on what it is you want. What do you want in your life? And how do you want to get it? The first thing I wanted was I wanted fulfillment. I wanted to live by myself. I wanted to live in a beautiful area. I wanted to own a house. I wanted to have fulfilling relationships, and I wanted to work from home. Those are the things that I wanted. So I tried to hone in on those things. The third thing I did, and this sounds silly, but I would look at my list and I go, okay, what decisions can I make today to get to that thing that I want, to get me closer to that? I can tell you the day that I got a remote job, I was working in a profession that I did not want to go back to. And it was about a year and a half, almost 2 years into that profession. And I had a friend that was working, she was a manager, a director, and she was working remotely. I bugged the crap out of her until I finally bugged her enough to where she gave me a job. So I looked at the things that I needed to do in order to get to where I needed to go. I decided I should never have bought a house. I should have never even thought about it. Because how does a person a year out from having absolutely nothing buy a house in a beautiful area? And I just made decision after decision after decision. Now, another thing that I think that you should be aware of, the third thing, is going to be um, you're going to fail a lot. And that's the best part. It doesn't sound like it and it feels yucky, but failure is an option at this point because the more that you try, the more you're going to fail and the more that you learn from that failure. So I tried all kinds of different stuff. I had no idea what I was going to do. I went back to a profession I really didn't want to go to. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to try out art. I did art and I did, paintings. I worked at a paint and sip. And then I went, I don't really want to do this. I want to do this thing. I would try different things all the time. I still do. Because each time I do that, I fail a lot, but I learn a lot too. So I personally like that. So those things are really going to get you on a good path in order for you to be successful at what you want, and give yourself grace. Give yourself grace because we all want to run the marathon. We all want to do a bang up job and just go balls to the wall and do all the things that we want. But we can't do that without falling down a lot. And also, can't do that without making the decision of what you want. I can't emphasize that enough. I don't think that older adults do this enough because we get so mired in how am I going to retire? I have nothing. I think making a list too, which I've done before, is what's the worst thing that can happen? When I left with a bag of clothes in my car, I could have lived in that car. I had my clothes. I could have done that. That was worst case scenario. And so if you go, oh, worst case scenario, I lived through that. I'll be fine. If you know that, that really is helpful. So play out the worst case scenario. That's an option. And really concentrate on the things that you want, not just the things that you think are, you can sit here and think about all the anxiety filled things because I think we all do. I look at my retirement and I go, ooh, that's so sad. I have the same fears, the same anxieties, but I can't let that take over my life because if I do, then it doesn't serve me. And you want to do something that's going to serve you. All of you guys have been through something that has been life changing. Every single one of you. I would love to know down below what you think. What life changing things led you to change stuff in your life at a certain age. If it was just a click, those things really do help. And moving forward, what do you want in your life? And how can you make that happen? What decision each day can you do to make that happen? So please, I would love your comments. It makes me so happy when I get comments from you. I hope you have a great night. I would love to hear you practicing this and seeing what kind of things you want in your life. It thrills me. So hopefully you have a great night.